On Hear Them Out with Hannah Mears, I am joined by two brothers, Trent and Hayden Hidlay. And you were ACC Wrestler of the Year, Hayden, and Trent was ACC Freshman of the Year. So that's pretty cool. Congrats to you guys.
Yeah, thank you for having us on.
Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome. You're welcome. What's quarantine been like for you guys? Like, what have you guys been up to? Give me a brief synopsis of what's been going on.
Yeah, we've just been, trying to stay busy. We kind of turned our garage into a wrestling room slash workout facility. So we just spent a lot of time in there and doing some yard work. Did a lot of mulching and kind of cleaning up the front yard the other day for our parents. So and other than that, with class and doing our online stuff, we're keeping ourselves busy.
I like that. I know. I feel like since I've been home, it's been chores all over again. And I feel like I'm in high school and it's like, oh, I got to get up and feel like I got to get up early to help with everything. So
Yeah, hopefully our parents don't want to kick us out of the house quite yet, but it's been a lot of fun. It's been kind of crazy being back home just because we've got now 6 humans in the house, 2 dogs, 7 cats. So it's kind of like a glorified zoo almost here. And we're functioning pretty well, but I don't think our parents are quite used to all that.
Wait, why do you have so many animals? Like, why is that a thing?
So my parents, they have 2 dogs and 5 cats. And back in Raleigh, me, Trent, and Heath, we have 2 cats. And so we brought our cats back. And so 2 dogs and 5 cats is still a lot, but kind of manageable. Adding in the 2 other cats, it makes it pretty much absurd back here, but it's been fine so far.
Oh my gosh. So is this an animal rescue type thing, or are we just find something we like and we get it?
Yeah, my mom's real big on saving cats and dogs. We always got our dogs from the ASP. There was an SPCA and State Park. I don't know. I guess there was 2 cats on an online site that this lady had to get rid of, and she went and picked them up, and then we got a call from our sister hey, we have 2 more cats.
So they've got 2 new cats in the last week, and we introduced our 2 cats into the house. So there's 4 new animals in the house right now, and so they're all kind of feeling out each other at the moment, and it's just all night long. You just hear cats running after each other and chasing around. But our 2 dogs really don't like whenever they get into hissy fits, and so they'll step in and start breaking up. It's kind of crazy.
Oh my god! So there's 6 humans and 9 animals.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah. Here, I'll go grab a cat.
Okay, I'm excited. All I have here is I have a pet. We have a pet goat, and we have a couple cows, and I have a cat. So it's a really unorthodox mix of animals here.
Nice, diversified though.
Yeah.
This is
Who is this?
This is Iggy.
Yes.
Iggy. Okay.
Yeah, this is me and Trent's cat.
Okay.
She's kind of our princess.
Yeah, she's cute. She's cute.
Yeah, but she likes to hang out on a shoulder, kind of like a monkey.
Okay. She just sits up there?
Yeah.
Oh.
She's gone now, but
she's camera shy. It's okay. She's camera shy.
Yeah, she's not used to being on the camera.
I love that. Speaking of cats though, Hayden, I believe it was you who tweeted something to Barstool Big Cat saying, "How do I adopt this cat?" And it was during the Cowboys-Giants game when the black cat ran across the field. Did you ever hear back? Are you going to be able to adopt that cat? Do we have any inside information on what happened?
They pretty much went silent on me. So I guess whenever they did that, I felt really bad for the cat because they were saying that the only way that it could have gotten in there was somebody brought it in there themselves and let it go. And so I was wow, that's a really terrible thing to do. The thing was so scared, running around the field. So I tweeted at them. I was I want to adopt a cat. And, Barstool never got back to me. MetLife Stadium never got back to me. And the New York Giants never got back to me. So it's not looking too good at the moment.
Respect. You were just trying to be so nice. Yeah. I'll tell you what. Well, I hope somebody sees it now and will at least let you know if the cat's okay, because now that they know you're legit.
Good home for it.
Yeah, absolutely. But no, I think my favorite part about you guys is your presence on Twitter. It is so funny. At least I find it funny. So I don't know if that's saying much because I laugh at a lot of things, but you guys are great. And one thing I did notice, just aside from that one specific tweet, was you guys mentioned you have a garage gym right now and the Rocky IV workout. Whose idea was that?
Well, when we first came home, the coaches pretty much told us we are gonna have to get creative with workouts and stuff, and they wanted us to send them what they were doing, or what we were doing, so they could keep the fan base updated and stuff. And Hayden and I were taking videos, and Hayden made a little video montage and sent it in.
Yeah, I was like really kind of confused on how to like put videos together. I'm like,
what did you use to put it together? Did you just do like an iMovie type thing?
Yeah, so I did an iMovie, and like I was sending it into like the creative people at NC State Athletics so that they could like put it into videos. Like, just so you know, like none of these like cuts are like smooth at all, and you're just gonna have to deal with it. And so they're like, all right, whatever. We're dying for content right now, and so they they ended up posting the video. It's kind of funny to look back now because a lot of people enjoyed it, but it's like the most naughty video production ever.
Yeah, I can only imagine what was going on like behind the scenes. Be like, no, redo, do that again.
Yeah, my girlfriend was actually filming most of the sets. She was working out with us, and I kept giving her the camera, and she was taking videos of us.
Oh my gosh. I love that. No, you have to get innovative though, so I think that was a really good way.
Wow. Oh, we got a barking dog. Sullivan, come here.
All the UPS trucks here.
Yeah, UPS driver's not really welcomed in this house. Come here, bud.
Come on.
I love it. I love that we're getting a glimpse of like some of the animals that are there, so we know this is legit.
Yeah, no editing it out. It's just true Hidlay family chaos.
It's raw. This is what's going on in the house right now during quarantine. I love it.
Yeah.
So aside from just that Rocky workout, I think something that I would be interested in, and I don't know if I don't even know if you guys have access to this, but since you're animal rescue people, maybe you could consider adding some chickens in and doing like the Rocky 2 workout, catching chickens. Have you ever caught a chicken before?
No, I've never caught a chicken. I feel like that'd be a lot harder than it looks.
Yeah, I haven't thought about that, but I mean, I think we're up for it. I think that'd be pretty good content.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who would get it first between Trent and I. I feel like I do a little bit better around like different animals than he does. I think he's a little bit worried about like mice and stuff like that. So I think I might have the edge on him in terms of the chicken catching, but we'd have to see.
Yeah. I mean, my I guess my 4-year-old cousin, we have chickens. Well, my aunt does. And he would like run outside and like run and grab them by the legs and just like hold them up. Like, so I don't know if these were just tame chickens, but he made it look really easy. So if he can do it, I'm sure you guys can do it.
Yeah, I'll have to give that a try sometime.
Yeah, I'll be looking for it.
There's lots of farms out here. I'm sure we could find some chickens.
Yeah. I mean, maybe ask for permission or just like walk over to the neighbors and just start like catching their chickens.
Yeah, just jump the fence. I guess that'd be a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, either way, whatever. It's all for a good cause. Tell them you're just doing it for a workout. One of my other favorite trends from you guys on Twitter was the hoagie sensation. I mean, I feel like my Twitter feed for weeks when this like first happened was just all about hoagies, and I was like, what is going on? So Trent, I know this is sort of your thing now. It's in your Twitter handle. So I need to go back from the beginning. Why the hoagies? Where did this originate? And like, what is going on with this whole thing in general?
Yeah, so let's go back. I guess this would have been my junior or senior year of high school, I think, or maybe junior. And Hayden and I had started the Hoagie Club, which was pretty much not a club. It was just getting a hoagie and watching football on the weekends and eating it on the couch or something. But we would always like joke around about it, and we were posting it all over Twitter and Snapchat, Instagram. Nobody probably realized what it was, just thought we were crazy. But then some of our buddies started catching on in the wrestling community, and I don't know, we had different segments of the state covered in Hoagie Club.
Oh my gosh.
And and I kind of took over the Hoagie Boy brand a little bit at Who's Number One. I caught the hoagie after the match and I ate it. That kind of blew up, and ever since I'll probably always be the Hoagie Boy.
I love that. I remember that moment, and just like, it's absurd that something like that catches on. But I think that's what I love about the wrestling community in general is like, it only takes one thing that's like really off the wall for people to just like eat it up.
Yeah, I think it helps a lot too with kind of like our brand, where we come from in our community. For some reason, there's like places in Pennsylvania that they don't call them subs, they call them hoagies. And
Yes.
so like if you go around Lewistown, like you don't buy a sub, you buy a hoagie. And so it's kind of like a cultural thing, I guess, that we've kind of clung on to, and I think our community really likes it too.
Yeah, that's really fun. I know going to different places and just like going to college in general and meeting a bunch of different people, the things that people say that other people find weird is just like blows my mind. Like the amount of people that I would say the word like gum band to. Like, do you guys know what a gum band is?
Mm-mm.
What? Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm from like the Pittsburgh area. I'm from Latrobe, but still like the Pittsburghese catches on out here. And a gum band is a rubber band.
I've never heard of that.
No.
What? Oh my gosh. Okay. So when I interned with the Penguins this summer, they asked a lot of the athletes the Pittsburghese terms and they had no idea. They thought we were like lying and making up the words. So, okay, well, you guys didn't know either.
What do you call the machine that picks up dirt from like carpet?
A vacuum?
We call it a sweeper.
Okay, well, yeah, I call it like interchangeable, a sweeper or a vacuum.
I've heard from people like whenever I went down to college, they like don't like call that at all. They would like think you're crazy for calling it that.
Do you guys at least say water?
What's that?
Do you at least say water?
Yeah,
water.
Yeah.
Not water?
No,
I think that's I think it's like a Philly thing.
And Jersey thing? Oh, it drives me nuts. The water.
I think as a whole, moving down to a big city in Raleigh kind of opened our eyes up a little bit about how different things are than living in a city and then living in a small kind of rural town.
What was like the biggest adjustment like moving to a city? Because I pretty much went from like middle of nowhere like to State College, which is still like the middle of nowhere. So it wasn't a huge adjustment in that aspect, but I met a lot of people who had differences. So what was it like moving from like a small town to like North Carolina, like you were saying?
I think honestly, there's just so much more to do. Like there's so many good restaurants, and like the volume of restaurants around is insane. Like that you can literally go to a new place every night.
Yeah.
I think being on a big campus like that, it's weird being around so many people. I think I kind of like the smaller setting a little bit better, but yeah, it's just so much bigger, more options, more opportunities around, and more fun things to do, I think.
Yeah, definitely with the food thing. Like, there's so many different places that I've tried for the first time. Like when in Lewistown, like there's maybe one place where you can get sushi, and now like in Raleigh, I can probably get sushi. I probably do it like once or twice a week, and it's like become like a staple. Like I've eaten Thai food for the first time, like just like a bunch of different stuff like that, where it's like you're just kind of like walk into a city and like holy smokes, this actually exists. Like, and you can do this every day.
I
think you're definitely exposed to a much bigger, diverse population, and a lot of different people come from different areas with different cultures. And I think that's good to be around because it kind of makes you appreciate just what America is, and I think that's cool to be around.
Yeah, not just like small town USA. There's like other things out there.
There's more to just the Lewistown, PA.
Yeah. Which I definitely want to talk to that. We'll get to that. But something I want to ask first in terms of the hoagie thing. You guys seem to be foodies. I mean, the one thing you mentioned was food. And I think that was my thing too. Just like realizing when you go to a city, like how many options you have, because I live in the middle of absolute nowhere. So I have to drive like 20 minutes to get to anything good to eat unless my mom's cooking it. So the best place to get a hoagie in Lewistown and the best place to get a hoagie in North Carolina.
Lewistown, I think we'll both agree, Southside Hoagie Shop. That's kind of the staple, and it's 5 minutes down the road, maybe not even that. But that's
what makes their hoagie so special. Like, what is on a hoagie that you like makes it good?
Well, for me, I think at like Southside, I think we went there all the time when we were younger, and that's what we always got. But they have like a really good like a pepper kind of like, I guess like you call it like a, what do you call it? Like a relish, like a pepper relish. I mean, but other than that, it's just, the regulars. I usually get turkey cheese and mayo, lettuce, onion, tomato. And I think the bread, it really makes it too. But you like a thick bread or a thin bread? I think I I don't know. I kind of like thicker a little bit better, but
Yeah.
sometimes it's good to get a little change.
Toasted or cold cut?
What's that?
Toasted or cold?
I usually like it cold. If I'm gonna get it toasted, I usually get like I won't get like deli. I won't get like a deli meat on it. I'll get like a different option if I get something
Yeah,
toasted.
like a chicken or steak or something like that.
Yeah, or if I put like meatball on it, something like that.
Yeah, for me, Southside is like it's like a whole cultural experience because you go into the place and it's like really old school. Like you kind of takes you back like 30 or 40 years, and they still have like the bar stools almost that can sit and turn, and you have the option to sit up there, and they've got like the cooks going on like right in front of you. I feel like it's just like a really cool cultural thing. But the other place that I like to go to outside of Southside is West End Service Store, and it's like another one of those things where you walk in, it's like a really old school convenience store from like 30, 40 years ago, and in the back they've got like a deli counter that you go and get a sandwich from. So I think those are probably our two favorite places.
Yeah, if you look,
experience is like just as important as the sandwich itself.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. And the other thing, I think Southside, the French fries are really good because I always get them with my hoagie there. And the West End thing, I think West End was kind of key in the production of the whole hoagie thing because the owner there always has kind of like funny things that they put on the sign. And there was a few times where they had stuff about hoagies, and I would always get a picture with it, post it on Instagram or something. I think they're still up, but
yeah, the greatest advertisement of all time comes from the West End Service Store, yes. And on the sign there, it says 10 pounds pot for what is like $5 or something like that.
Yeah,
it says
it's like 10 pounds a pot, $5.99, and it's been up. I mean, it's been up there forever.
Yeah,
it's just like the big joke about thing. I mean, like it's like
no.
10 pounds. Yeah, they just put pot up there.
That's actually hilarious. I mean, it's kind of smart. Like even if they did it on accident, now people are talking about it. So
yeah, it's good stuff.
That's actually so funny. What about in North Carolina? Since you had to leave those places in Lewistown, where have you been able to find a good hoagie?
Yeah, it's actually it's a little different in Raleigh because there's not as many like just kind of like little like hoagie shops around. We can get really good ones at Harris Teeter, which is like the grocery store, and they have a deli counter there. Either that or there's a place called Subconscious that has really good hoagies too. So I'll probably either go to one of those two.
I like that. I'm glad you found somewhere to get a good hoagie down in North Carolina. I feel like that was probably really important.
Yeah, sometimes we'll go to Jersey Mike's too. I mean, that's probably the better chain that there is. You just got to make sure you don't go to Subway because that's garbage.
That's what all I've heard in these podcasts is either that like how bad Subway is. Like this is a wrestler thing, like how bad Subway is, but how good like Jersey Mike's is. Like this has been a reoccurring theme.
I would definitely take a wrestler's word for it and not go to Subway because like the thing about Subway is like you can taste their ham, their turkey, and their chicken, and I think it's all the same meat. I don't think there's any difference. They just color it differently. And so it's actually the Subway's biggest conspiracy is it's all the same meat. It's all the same.
It's all the same. I mean, I'll trust, I think, like the Hoagie boys on that one. I feel like you guys are really reliable sources and you've done your research. So I think I'll trust you on that. But something, so you mentioned the hoagie shops in Lewistown, but something that cracks me up on Twitter is how you guys rave about Lewistown. And I'm sure it's like a big joke, but it seems like if I was following you, like I have to go check this place out to see what's so great about it. I mean, you're wishing it like happy anniversary, like the greatest place on earth. Like what's so awesome about Lewistown that if I go there, I have to see?
Honestly, I think growing up in a small town, I think it takes a lot of heat, and people love to talk bad about it because I mean, it definitely has its shortcomings, and it's not the most special place in the world. But I think for the kids that grow up in it and you experience all your life memories, whether that's playing Little League baseball or growing up playing football or hanging out with your friends, riding bikes. I think it's really special being able to have a personal connection with a lot of people in the community. And I think it's always brought me a lot of pride to be a part of the community and have people know who you are and have those relationships. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, and just Lewistown, I mean, it's home. And I think our duty as people who have gone and left, I think, and are kind of chasing our dreams. I feel like we owe it to ourselves and our community to be good role models for it and be advocates of it. And I mean, it's in the big kind of sense of all things, it's probably not much different than a lot of other Pennsylvania small towns, but it's home to us, and it's just a really blue collar and hardworking community. And I think the people of it have treated us so well in the past that, we're really glad to kind of be ambassadors for it, I guess, in a way. And so whenever we can, we try to make it home, and we try to do all that you can in Lewistown. There's a lot of beautiful things to do, especially in terms of like hiking. And if you're really big in the outdoors, I think we have it covered there. And so a lot of people don't know about this little place on earth, but it's really special to us.
All right, I'm sold. So visiting Lewistown is something after quarantine that I'll do. You sold me. So congratulations. Someone that is an awesome person, I think, has come out of there. Your dad, I have a picture, okay, that I was sent by a reliable source, and I need to know the background on this picture and the story for it, if you can see that.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So
that's a Hayden story. I was there, but Hayden lived through it.
Yeah, so that was probably one of my dad's finest moments in his wrestling coaching career. It must have been when I was probably 8 years old. We were at the PJW States, and this was kind of the first time I had ever done really well in the tournament. I was kind of moving along, and we were in the semifinal round, and I was down throughout most of the match. I started to make a comeback late, and I got a late turn to end up sealing the match. And as I was getting this turn, my dad was on the camcorder behind the bench, like the coaches' seats. And
Right.
these seats, it was like in Johnstown, and they had these really old school, like wooden coaches' chairs. And so my dad got so excited once I got this turn that he jumped up in the air and like lost track of what he was looking at because he was on the camcorder, and his face just came busting down on this wooden chair.
Oh, no.
And so like the match is over at this point, and there's just blood everywhere, like coming out of his eye, out of his nose. And like I go over, like I get my hand raised, I don't see any of this going on. And like I go over to my corner then after the match is over, looking for my dad. And next thing you know, there's like the paramedics are there, like tending to him. And so like everybody's first initial thought when you see something is like, oh my goodness, my dad must have gotten into a fight with the other kid's dad.
Right,
and
right.
So that's
Typical
what like
wrestling dads at the Pennsylvania State Junior Wrestling Tournament.
Yep. So I'm 8 years old at this point and just trying to find some answers. And finally, one of my coaches, so it was another kid's dad, was like, yeah, your dad, he's in rough shape. He bounced his face off the back of our chairs. And so my dad didn't he had blood everywhere. He couldn't really see out of any of his eyes. And so what they did was these paramedics came out with a stretcher, and they put this big blanket over top. He's like, just cover it over my face. I don't want people to see this.
Oh
and
my
so
gosh, I feel like so many little kids there were probably horrified. Like,
yeah,
that's your match, your big moment, and then you're like, what's going on with my dad?
Yeah, they carted him off on the stretcher. He ended up getting like, I don't know,
just stitches.
9 stitches under his eye. He broke his nose. He had to get stitches on his nose. That was probably the funniest youth wrestling experience I've ever gotten to go through.
There's some I think there's actually better pictures than that show it like when it first happened, which is pretty rough, but
yeah.
We'll have to
Oh
ask
my
him.
gosh. You'll have to send them my way. But at least that one, like you know that like he's okay, everything's good, like he's really proud of you, but
it took about like 5 minutes for it to kick in and be really funny. Like,
yeah.
Like, holy smokes, did my dad just get into a fight? And then it turned into, no, he just bounced his face off the back of a chair.
I can't even imagine. Like, I feel like that's something that I would talk about and like make fun of my dad for like ever.
Yeah, I think it will probably be.
I'm sure it'll come up. I'm sure it might even come up tonight at dinner.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope that's something you guys bring back up at dinner. I also have to note that like shout out. I know you guys are like probably more the famous ones, and your siblings love that. I mean, I love you guys on Twitter, so I would definitely follow you as an influencer. But I feel like your brother and sister, like I'm talking to you guys, but they're like the fourth Jonas right now, sort of like just kind of out there. But I want to shout out the fact that your brother grows an awesome mustache.
Heath is he is definitely growing one hell of a mustache at the moment, but they're really great too, and it's been a really pretty cool ride to be able to share our 20s together and be able to live together, because he's probably the funniest person out of all four of us. We get probably more like recognition, I guess, but he's more of like adding to the brand. He does a lot more than he probably could.
Do you guys all live together then?
Yeah, me, Heath, and Hayden all live together in Raleigh.
Okay, that's fun.
Our sister is a junior right now, and I think they might not get as much recognition, but they really hold us together. I think Heath was a Division III athlete. He was really probably the best football player out of all of us, and Lydia's probably the best person the best out of all the siblings. But
naturally, I mean, girls tend to have that effect. So
yeah, no, she's awesome, and she's really good at field hockey, and she's looking to go to school next year. I mean, she'll be a senior next year, but she'll find where she wants, and she's gonna do well wherever she goes.
That's exciting. That's so great that you guys are so supportive. But yeah, I had to throw that in there about. I know she's a great athlete and his mustache as well. I was just cracking up when I was scrolling through social media and saw pictures. So I had to give credit where credit's due.
Yeah.
And Trent used to grow quite the mullet as well. So I'm glad to see that that's gone.
I've gone through some weird stages with my appearance in general. I haven't quite figured out what my hair identity is yet, but I'm looking for it.
I think this is a clean look right now. It's a safe look.
It's okay. I just kind of realized my hair was curly like 2 years ago, so I've been kind of going with that.
Yeah, the two of us, he changes probably every month or two. I think I probably had the same haircut for the past 5 years. And
I don't think I've ever seen you with something different than that.
Yeah.
It's fine. You found what works for you and you stuck to it. Some of us just take a little longer.
Yeah. I like to keep it interesting. Keeps me young.
Yeah, it keeps me young. Oh my gosh.
I'm not 20 years old.
Yeah, right?
21 tomorrow, actually.
No, wait, tomorrow's your birthday?
Yep.
No way. Happy birthday. You're spending it in quarantine?
Yep, we're going to spend it watching home videos on the couch. It'll be a good time.
I love that.
This has been a kind of production the last few days. We just found like our old camcorder, and we have hundreds of, maybe like 500 like old tapes of us wrestling and around the house and playing football. So we don't have like the cord charger, so it's kind of hard to watch, but we've been busy on that.
Yeah, not a very tech savvy family. So as time goes on and the camcorders get updated, we're trying to put together any kind of wire we can to get it up on the TV.
Yeah, I know that was like a huge thing when my brothers and I were little too, is my mom, like the big camcorder, like recording everything we did. We have so many like VHS tapes of that like we can't play anymore.
Yeah.
But like I really wish we could. So you guys all live together in North Carolina, like you were saying, and I saw something else on Twitter as I was Twitter creeping on two of my favorite influencers, I like to call you guys. What was the takedown trick or treat?
Oh, we're big into Halloween at our house.
Yeah. Okay. So give me the scoop on what was going on there with your spin off on trick or treating.
Yeah. Well, this was my first Halloween in our house, because my freshman year I had to live in the dorms, but I don't know, we got the kiddies together and they were a little freaked out by the trick or treaters, but I guess it was just our own little kind of wrestling twist on it. There wasn't any actual takedowns, but.
Oh, okay. I was hoping it was like you either can choose candy or like a takedown, like one of those things.
That's what we were hoping for.
Because I'm like, if I'm a little kid, I'm like, get away from me and give me the candy, like.
Yeah, and so I tried to spread it on my Twitter, but it turns out that wasn't really something that like 8-year-old kids are looking to do. Is try to take somebody down in the front yard. But Halloween's cool for us just because. Our little kitty, Iggy, that's whenever we say her birthday is. And so she's like a Halloween kitty. And so our other cat, Tiggy, we said that's her like birthday as well, just because she'll get jealous if we just only spend attention.
She'll get upset.
Yeah, she'll get upset.
Oh,
and so we'll make this big deal. My mom will like have like candy there for us, and like we'll say like we're having this huge like Halloween get together, and then like 10 kids will come. so like we'll like always take pictures out in the front and like have this like Halloween wreath there, and like I'll open up the kitchen window and stick a boombox there, and I'll play like Halloween music to try to entice the kids to come. Sounds like really creepy,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, a little
like
bit, but like I'll just pretend like you're just in the Halloween spirit for that.
the next step for this Halloween is we have to come up with like really good costumes, and like I
Yeah.
gotta start marketing it like a week out, and like having like NC State fans like come to the house like with their kids, because
Yes.
then that would actually get really interesting, because if I can get like I don't know, people that go to the football, basketball, and wrestling matches and whatever,
Right.
if they can like, bring their families, we would have like a really killer Halloween spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the costume is the biggest part, but I've never been good at costumes. Like my favorite costume, I was Uncle Rico this year from Napoleon Dynamite, and I was pretty proud of that costume. So that was probably my most fun. But like, do you guys have like a favorite costume from Halloween? Like, where did you just like really nail the costume?
I don't know. We've had so many. What it usually was my mom was probably so stressed out with Halloween costumes that we all would just kind of go up in the attic and find something and put it on.
Right.
When I was really little, I had a crush on the Pink Power Ranger, and I dressed up as her one time.
No.
Yeah. I don't know.
Has
I
that
think
crush subsided, or like, is there still feelings for the Pink Power Ranger?
I haven't had any feelings for her in a while. I don't think that ever.
I'm sorry if I brought up like memories again, not to break your heart.
Yeah, so we had probably 4 or 5 different Power Ranger costumes, and like whenever Trent decided he wanted to be the Pink Power Ranger, my dad was like, out of all the ones, you want to be the Pink Power Ranger.
Yeah, my dad was pissed.
So another great Halloween costume that we had, this was before Trent went out trick-or-treating, but Keith and I were I was Peter Pan and he was Captain Hook. And the funny thing about the picture is like I'm wearing this Peter Pan costume and I've got bruises and like scratches all over my face. And so it must have been like Peter Pan got his ass beat by Captain Hook a few hours earlier. And it's just a funny picture.
That's just like a bad accident of timing there.
I mean, every single childhood picture we have, somebody's got like a black eye, and it was usually Trent. But
yeah, I always got my ass beat.
Oh God! Oh my God! That's not good. Well, I mean, I believe it. I think it runs in the family after seeing your dad's eye, so it like makes sense that everybody else just followed suit.
Yeah, definitely.
No, I think that's fun. I'm excited to see what the Halloween costumes are going to be this year. So you have to make them good because I'm going to be looking.
It can't be a letdown this year. We need to have at least
no more letdown.
I want to have at least 50 kids show up to the house.
Yeah. That's always been like a goal of mine, is like to go somewhere where there's a lot of trick-or-treaters, because I live in the middle of nowhere. So we'd get like one from like, you know, our cousin that would just like show up to be like nice. So we don't get trick-or-treaters. So I really hope you guys get a big show out as well, but you have to provide. So like you have to look good.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We're gonna get treat bags set up.
Yeah,
I mean,
wait. That's the real question. What are you handing out? Are you gonna be like the king size candy bar house, or the what?
We'll have the big candy bars, all the good ones. We usually have chips that we give, and
yeah. So what we did this year is you got
cookies.
You got like a bag of cookies or chips, and then you got like a Reese's or Hershey's, and then you got like another piece of like candy or something like that. So we were giving out like really good stuff.
Yeah.
We gotta definitely market ourselves a little bit better this year.
Yeah, you do, especially giving away all that stuff. Like if I was a kid, I would have been making rounds to your house, like in a different costume.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's crazy. Oh, well, I hope that goes well for you guys. I know I would be stopping there, so that's just
we're looking forward to it.
Yeah. I'm sure after this, you guys are going to be like huge influencers. So like a lot of followers, like people are going to be there. So make sure you're marketing it, because there will be retweets. Yeah, like absolutely. But Hayden, something you do like toward the end of this now, you sign some tweets that I've noticed, and I don't know why, but some of them get signed like HH and other ones don't. So when is the appropriate time to sign your signature on a tweet?
Well, the story behind that is like Hulk Hogan is on Twitter, and he signs all of his tweets as HH, and so like he's not very good at like he'll like butt tweet a lot, and like either that or he'll like try to like tweet at somebody and he'll just tweet himself, and he'll always have the tagline HH. And so like when things are important or like they're like kind of funny, I'll just put the tagline like HH at the bottom. Like if it's like a public service announcement or like me kind of dressing somebody, I would just put HH at the bottom. But it's kind of like a playoff of what Hulk Hogan does, just because the funniest thing I've probably ever done on Twitter is I'll like reply to Hulk, and he put one time he tweeted out was just HH.
I saw the tweet.
I said, Hulk, what do you need? And then just the tagline, HH. And he hasn't gotten back to me yet, but we're still trying on that one too.
Which, I was hoping, I was going to ask you that. That was going to be one of the last things I asked you, because I was cracking up when I saw that, because sometimes it's just the tweets that are so subtle that are just like the best things ever. And that was definitely one of them. Not to like gas you up. I know Trent's probably over here like, oh, here we go again, the Hulk Hogan. But
yeah, that's the big thing, is if I can get Hulk Hogan to reply to me, that would probably, I think life would go downhill after that. But another thing, I'm a little bit worried if I keep like referring to myself as Double H and like tagline HH. I think the WWE might send me.
You're gonna get sued.
I'm gonna get sued from Triple H and WWE Entertainment. So that's also another goal of mine, is to get a cease and desist letter, and then I'm going to hang that up in my fridge, and then I won't be able to do Double H anymore, but until that day happens, I'll keep doing it.
I hope this podcast is exactly what makes all of that happen. I would feel so confident. That would be the benefit of my career. I hope so. Trent, do you have one person, if you become an influencer after this, that you hope follows you on Twitter? Who's your dream follower?
Tony Hawk.
Tony Hawk?
Yeah.
Shut up.
Do you follow him on Twitter? He's great.
No, I don't follow Tony Hawk on Twitter, but I've seen some things like.
He's got a great Twitter thing, and I love skate. I can't skateboard, but I love skateboarding. That's one thing I'm gonna do when I'm done wrestling. But Tony Hawk's one of my favorite athletes. I think he's awesome.
Yeah, Tony Hawk's Twitter is just cool because like every like month or so, he'll run into somebody on the street who like they think they know who he is, but he'll like tweet the interaction. And so the best one I think was whenever he was at the airport and he was renting a car, and I guess like the screen at the rent-a-car place will show the people's names who registered their car there. Mm-hmm. And his name wasn't up there once he went to do it. And so he went up to the guy. He's like, hey, you never put my name up for the rent-a-car thing. He's like, what's your name? And he's like, my name's Tony Hawk. He says, oh yeah, we saw that, but we thought that you were screwing with us and it was just a random person. And so we took it off the screen. And so he'll like tweet stuff like that. So I think if Trent could get recognition from Tony Hawk, that would be.
I have his number in my phone. He
legit number or one of those like numbers.
It's not like his number, but it's like he like sends like max text out and stuff. And he sent an update a few weeks ago. He's a good guy.
So you just like to know that like you're relevant in his life.
I like to stay updated. Yeah.
The Tony Hawk fan club. What if Tony Hawk wanted to be like a hoagie boy?
We'd elevate him. Yeah, we'd elevate him to.
He'd probably be like
director of badassery, probably.
Director of I don't even know, something cool. Yeah, he'd get whatever he wanted.
He's the man for that. I love it.
We'd have to get him to Reynolds for a few matches. I think he'd like that.
Yeah,
but he lives in California, so that can be tricky.
Yeah, especially with all of this going on right now. Like,
might start tweeting at him.
Yeah. You should.
Honestly, we're gonna live tweet him during this.
I'm gonna tell him I'm his #1 fan.
Well, yeah. Well, now like after this, you're gonna have so many followers, so he's gonna be like reaching out to you.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Clearly,
I'm sure. You can see that happening.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I hope you guys become huge influencers and reach the climax of your lives via social media. I know I've had a lot of fun keeping in tabs with all of you and enjoyed all these stories today. So have so much fun with your 6 family members in the house as well as 9 pets during quarantine.
All right. Thank you, Hannah.
Yeah, we will.
Yes,
thank you
guys so much. This has been Hear Them Out with Hannah Mears.